I wanted to make this video before spring gets into full bloom, really, in case anybody wants to try these foundationless frames. And my bees seem to like them. I'm sure yours will. Here I've got a deep box from last year, and we'll just pull a few frames out of here. I finally got this one almost all foundationless. And as you can see, I just want to let you know there is no wires in here. There's no wires holding any of this in. As you can see, the bees, just to build it, I've been a little bit rough with it, and it started to break right here on the edges. But if I put that back in a hive, them bees will glue that right back together. And it's so nice to see a natural drawn foundation frame. Here it's got that little bit of curvature on there, and I mean, it's just, the bees seem to like it. My whole goal is to get this whole hive so that it's completely natural. I like natural things. I like natural hives. This hive actually died throughout the winter. You can see the bees are still stuck here on the frame where they tried to stay warm, it appears. But you can see here, the bees, when they built this piece of foundation on one of those frames that we made, that we're going to be making here, this is what we're going to be making. They build their own communication holes. And the hive seems to be healthier to me when they have their own, when they make their own foundation. And they don't make a mess as long as things are level. As long as it's good and level. And I always put, when I'm gonna put one of these pieces of foundationless frame in here, here's a beep. What I mean, you want to make sure, the way that I get these nice and straight is I'll put one in like this that's already drawn, have another one that's already drawn, like this, and then I put the foundationless frame that I made, I put that right in the middle of the two that are already drawn, just like that. And then they'll go ahead and draw this frame out, and it should look just like this. Every once in a while you get a little bit of a mess in here. Here we got a little bit of burr comb building up on the top, but they're just, I don't know, they're just nice, they're natural. Like I said, I don't have any wires in here. And this one, pretty good. I hate to destroy one of these for you guys, but I just want you to, I'm going to destroy one because I want to show you just what we're doing here. This one must have a little bit of honey left in it. But there we got some communication holes down here, no wire. And here, now this frame here, as you can see, now this was a full sheet of foundation. You can see it in here. This one was on a full sheet of foundation. But there's no communication holes in here. It looks like they tried to make one here in a little bit wider space. And this was also a full sheet that I started this hive with last year. Full sheet. That's one I threw in there. Now we won't have to destroy one after all. Here's the foundation. It broke. Like I said, I was really rough with this hive, and I think if a guy was to put wire in these from here to here, a piece of that wire, I think you could probably prevent a lot of this. But most of the time, the bees will glue this together. Being how it's a year old, it's just so brittle and it doesn't help. But, you know, that's just a nice demonstration piece. And that came right out of this one here. You can see that gosh, I think I even got it on the right side. But you can see right where it broke off there. And that's what that piece of foundation looked like before it broke off in their communication hole. And there's no drastic width to it. I mean, it's just, they'll draw it out to the width of your frames, and that's pretty much it. for the most part, it goes pretty slick. I'll go ahead and put these back together. I just wanted to show you that's what I'm making here with these foundationless frames, and these are the results. These are the results you're going to get if you use the foundationless frames and you put them in between a completely drawn frame, just like I showed you. That's the result you're going to get. So I just wanted to share that with anybody that wanted to make some foundationless frames, maybe give it a try this year. I wasn't real sure of whether it was going to work when I first did it, I think a year or two ago. But after I did it, I'm trying to get all my brood chambers. I'm still going to use the, in my honey supers, I'm still going to use the right cell foundation just because I don't want to be blowing frames out. Now on the honey supers where I want comb foundation, or comb honey, I'm going to go ahead and use a foundationless frame, let them draw it out. They'll do it identical to this as long as you put it in between two frames that are already drawn. And I tell you, I think my hives are pretty healthy when they can do 90% of it natural. I just think the more natural you keep it, the healthier the hive is, the more the bees like it. And it's working for me, folks. It's working for me. And it's cheaper too. So anyway, anybody that wanted to give it a try, I'm not going to ramble on here any longer, but anybody that wanted to give it a try, I'm going to be making this video how to make foundationless frames and how to make one just like this out of a store-bought piece of foundation. You just have to modify the frame rail in here, and I'm going to be doing a video right in the end of this presentation of how to go ahead and build all this stuff. So if you want to build a foundationless frame, you don't want to make your frames, but you want to go foundationless, just stay tuned and follow the video, and it'll be coming right up. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make these foundationless frames with just using regular right cell foundation. There's a 5 5/8 or I believe 8 7/8 inch sheet for deeps. You can use either one. The larger one's a little bit cheaper. You'll get more frames out of it for your buck. And what we're going to do is we're just going to rip them into small pieces. Strips like this is just 1 inch wide here by the length of the foundation. You just rip them right down with your table saw. It doesn't splinter or anything. It does kind of make a little bit of a mess with the plastic shavings, but other than that, it's not too bad. And then we got to do a little bit of modification to this piece here. We got to make this groove just a tad bit wider. It doesn't want to slide in there the way it came factory. And I'm just doing this video so that you guys, if you don't want to be making your own frames, but you do want to go foundationless, there's an easy way to do it. So we'll get started on this and I'll show you how it's done. Okay, the first thing we need to do is you need to put 2 blades side by side on your table saw. That's going to make it roughly a good 1/8 to 3/16 inch of a groove. And what I normally do when I'm building hives is I get these dado kits from Menards. That it's just a dado saw blade, and it'll go up to, I believe this one's 13, it goes, excuse me, from 1/4 inch to 13/16 inch. It's a dado blade set, and it's got like 2 blades, a bunch of shims, some small cutters as you can see here in the package, and you just put them spacers in if you want to make wider dado cuts and etc. But that's what I'm using right here is just one of these. It's a 8-inch dado blade set, and I'm running side by side on my saw here. As you can see right there, I got the blades side by side, and that's going to give me roughly, about 3/16 of a 1/4 inch cut. Okay, the next thing we need to do here is we're going to be taking this piece of the frame, which is the top rail of your frame, And what we need to do is we need to just make this groove here a little bit wider. We don't want to change the depth of it, but we need to change the width of it. So we need to take, and we're just going to set our saw accordingly. You can just eyeball it. Just set your saw so the depth is just where the other cut went through. And then you're going to adjust your width just so everything lines up pretty good here. And this don't have to be absolutely perfect. Just so it's pretty much centered. Because all we're going to do is we're just going to open that cut up just a tad, like that. Next thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put a piece of scrap lumber right here, and I'm going to set that right here as I get ready to cut this, and we'll go ahead and make our cut. Okay, so here we've made our cut right down the center of this purchased frame, and see how that'll slide in there now. Just ain't much leeway. I mean, it's just ain't much room, but it's just enough. It's just wide enough so that that new piece of foundation is going to slide right through there. Now I'm going to show you how to make these. How easy these are to make. I don't think you necessarily have to go 1 inch wide. I think I could probably get away with 1/2 inch. And you can probably double your amount of pieces you're making out of your foundation. I'll go ahead and show you how to make one of those real quick. What I did here, I haven't changed this blade out. You don't need to run 2 blades. I just don't have the time to change it out right now. But normally just run 1 blade, make your 1 inch cuts of foundation. What we're going to do, just measure from the blade. I'm going to measure over 1 inch. And we'll lock it into place. And like I said, you could probably get away with 1/2 inch, doing your 1/2 inch strips, and it'll be just fine. We'll go ahead and cut this piece of foundation here, and it's a piece of cake. Okay, so here we've made our cut, and we're just going to put it in this top rail of this purchased frame, and I'll show you how to nail it all together, and then you'll have a piece of foundationless frame that you can go ahead and stick in between any 2 pieces of drawn foundation in your beehive. Okay, so here we are. Has any of you seen in my prior videos how I just love the nail gun? I don't think a guy can do any better investment. It's just an 18 gauge Bostage nail gun. Just a Bostage nail gun. Okay, so we've got our piece of top frame rail that we reamed out. Here was the piece that I showed you in the very beginning that we were going to make. Here's the piece that we just did make. So we'll throw this off to the side, and we'll go ahead and put this frame together. Now this is one that this is a medium frame, and it doesn't matter if you want to use mediums or deeps. It isn't going to matter. We'll just put this together. It'll be a piece of foundationless comb is what I'm going to be using it for. So just everything goes together like normal. And we'll go ahead and slip this in, just like you're putting one with foundation in. I go ahead and put one right on top, each side. I also put one in each here, because I don't want my frame falling apart. maybe it's a little overkill. I would rather have my frames fall apart than have a bunch of frames falling apart. Okay, so we got our piece of foundation. You don't have much to work with, that's for darn sure. You got it right on that edge. Just, it takes a while to figure it out, but you got to be right on that edge, just to barely catch that edge. And you'll see what I'm talking about here. Barely on that edge. And then the bees are going to glue all that into place anyway. I'll show you. There's the other one. You probably only in 1/16 of an inch. But see how it nails just right on that edge. And anyway, got our sheet of foundation in there, and it's in there. It ain't going anywhere. And then that's all there is to it. And just take and throw that in your beehive. And like I said, I've learned it works a lot better if you have two pieces of already drawn foundation and just slip it right in between. You got drawn foundation here and drawn foundation here, and just put this one right in between, butt them all up together, and it just seems, it works great. It really does. And from what I've learned, the bees will draw this out before they'll even touch a full sheet of the right cell foundation or the plastic foundation. I don't like plastic. I know this is plastic foundation, but there's something about the solid plastic foundation. The whole frame is plastic, the whole sheet. The bees just don't care for it. But from what I've learned with these foundationless frames, the bees just love it. And it's like they would rather draw out their own foundation instead of have you make something for them. So I figured, another thing you could probably do, and I haven't tried this yet, but you could probably get the wire-in foundations where you put the wire in here, and you could probably, now I don't know if anyone's tried it, I don't know, I'm thinking about trying it, but you could probably run a couple pieces of that wire through there, and then you could probably go ahead and just spin these out in your honey supers, and I would think that wire would keep the frame from blowing out on you. But I like these especially because they make nice cut comb, and then if I want to destroy the comb, I can just go ahead and just rip it out and then let them draw a new comb again. And it seems to work great for me. So if you're into trying foundationless frames, this is a cheap and easy, affordable way that I've found out how to do it. So thanks for watching my videos.